John Buchanan would say, there has to be over 4,000 people here. That's counting eyes and noses. We have some very distinguished guests that I'm just going to mention briefly. We have from the Cumberland Colchester neighboring riding, Scott Armstrong. Bruce Holland is here from Halifax. Where's Bruce? We have Senator Tom McGuinness from Sheet Harbour over this way. And I know we have some other former members of the provincial legislature. Unfortunately, Tim Houston, the Progressive Conservative leader, Carla and Pat send their regrets. They're in the legislature tonight. Otherwise, they would be joining us for certain. I saw Angus McIsaac here as well. And you know, we're going to have a very special guest here in a few moments. And I was reminded, I've been in this hall before, here in Little Harbour. And I should also mention, this is not a paid advertising, but the bar is going to be open. And the proceeds go to the Little Harbour Community Centre. I was reminded, though, that we've had another Prime Minister here in the past. Thank you, Dad. My father, Elmer McKay, is here. And lots of special guests and familiar and friendly family faces here for this gathering. I have a very distinct honor tonight to introduce a friend to you, but he's a friend to all of us. He's a friend to Pictou County. He's a friend to Antigonish, Halifax, Guysborough County, all of Central Nova, all of Nova Scotia, a native son of Nova Scotia. And, you know, he is a guy who I've got to know really well over the years. Traveled to Afghanistan with him. But going back a number of years, George Canyon made his mark on the country here, first in Pictou County, as a hockey player with the Westville Minor Hockey Association. He later went on to do a few other things, including Nashville Star, but that was sort of the pinnacle. I also found out something tonight that I'd never heard about my friend George Canyon, that this is not the first time that he's run for office. Not the first time. And he won. He ran previously to be president of the West Pictou High School. And it was very prescient because he promised lower taxes, he promised better entertainment at the high school dance that year. And most importantly, he kept all of his commitments. So we've got a great turnout here and a very welcoming crowd for our special guest, who's going to be coming in soon. A few other people I wanted to recognize quickly was Katie and Pierre Aucoin, who performed here for us tonight. Very proud grandfather, Peter Kay, former president of the Central Nova Riding Association. And I saw a lot of participants in campaigns past and present who were here. Also want to give a quick shout out to our law enforcement community who are here tonight in force, protecting all of us, and members of the Canadian Armed Forces. I saw Richard Dunbar and a few others here. So, big crowd. We're here tonight. We're feeling energized. There's 72 hours left in this campaign. And our candidate, George Canyon, has been working very, very hard getting around this big riding. And what I've been told by George and Rob Wolf, members of the campaign team, what they're hearing on the doorsteps is Trudeau's got to go. Secondly, people don't want a carbon tax. In fact, they want lower taxes. And And thirdly, as we all know, we need a strong representative in Central Nova so that our voice is heard in Ottawa and around the world and around the country. And that strong voice, we all know, your friends, his family, his mom who's here, we're all behind you. Please give a big Central Nova, Pictou County, Nova Scotia welcome to the next Member of Parliament for Central Nova, George Canyon.
Thank you, Mr. McKay. And no greater honor has ever been asked of me than to step up and serve my family, my friends, my neighbors, and all the residents of Central Nova. No greater honor. And they know how much I love to talk, and so they have me on a script tonight. Thank you, Peter, for saying everything I wanted to say. That's awesome. You know, this October, a new Conservative government will put our faith in Canadians to help build the kind of country where everyone can get ahead. Everyone. The leader of Canada's Conservatives understands you. And, you know, he knows what it's like to be a middle-class family fighting to get ahead because he has lived that life. Like me, well, this is a funny one. He knows what it was like to grow up with Trudeau running the country. And like me, he also knows what it was like to raise his kids with a Trudeau running the country. Canada's Conservatives have a leader who knows what it's like to fight to succeed, despite the odds against you. And he has never stopped fighting for Canadians and for his family. And now, ladies and gentlemen, he is fighting for you. Please welcome the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Andrew Scheer.
Wow, what a great welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is the first time this entire election campaign, that I've started off an event getting piped into the crowd. I think our friends in the media missed the campaign song, so we'll play it on the way out, just so they don't miss out on it. But I want to start off tonight by thanking all the hard workers at Nova Scotia Power. I understand that there was quite a lot of work to do after the storm, and they got the lights up and running again, so thank you very much. I always like to start off these events with a real piece of good news. You know, Justin Trudeau started off his campaign a few weeks ago asking for 4 more years, but I'm here to tell you he's only got 4 more days. love the sound of that. I love the sound of that. Let me start off by thanking George. Thank you so much for carrying the banner here. Thank you for being our candidate. We're looking forward to working with you after October 21st as the Member of Parliament. So thank you so much. And thank you very much to a good friend of mine, someone who I served with for many, many years in Ottawa, someone who I learned a lot from. We worked on a lot of projects together, the Honourable Peter MacKay. Thank you so much. We've had lots of conversations about Nova Scotia, the issues that are important here, and the issues that are important to Canadians all across the country. And this election, as we head down to the last 4 more days, still is based on one simple question. Who do you trust to put more money in your pockets so you can get ahead? Now, we know we can't trust Justin Trudeau, am I right? This is the same Trudeau who looked Canadians in the eye and he said that he would balance the budget would balance itself in 2019. He never had any intention on keeping that promise. Then, this is the same Justin Trudeau who's been found guilty of breaking ethics laws not once, but twice. And he still won't let the RCMP investigate. And that's why I announced as Prime Minister, I will launch an inquiry into his scandal and corruption. Now, I love coming to Nova Scotia. I love coming to Atlantic Canada. One of my first visits, actually the first visit I took, official visit, as leader of the Conservative Party of Canada a couple of years ago, was to Atlantic Canada. We spent a few days here with my wife and my 5 kids. And I'll never forget, we had some local volunteers take us out on a lobster boat, teach me, Jill, and our kids about the lobster fishing industry. And I always remember my son Henry being, growing up in Saskatchewan, looking out across the stern and turning to me with these big, wide eyes saying, "Dad, this is the biggest lake I've ever seen." I got to give my kids from the prairie some geography lessons here. But I love coming back here, but I know that a lot of people in Atlantic Canada have a lot of concerns and a lot of anxieties. But Justin Trudeau's running around telling us that we've never had it so good. And I'm sure in his world that's true. Because remember, this is the same guy who said that higher gas prices are, quote, exactly what he wanted. Well, I know, and you know, that millionaire trust fund liberals like Justin Trudeau might not mind paying higher gas prices, but hard-working Canadians, they don't want to pay any more for their gas, their home heating, or their home groceries. And the government shouldn't be there for people who are already doing well. I'm here for the people who just need a break. The parents who sit around the dinner table, like mine often did, crunching the numbers to figure out how they're going to make it to the end of the month. That's who I'm fighting for, and that's who I will govern for, ladies and gentlemen. So let me tell you what I'm hearing from the Canadians I've met all across the country. There is real frustration out there. For the first time, perhaps ever, there's a sense that the future generations might not be as well off as the current one. That no matter how hard you work, you're just not getting ahead. And there's a sense that the dreams and goals that you've set for yourselves or for your children are getting harder and harder to reach. But that's not the Canada I know and love. I believe that Canada should be a place where hard work is rewarded, where no goal is out of reach, and where no ambition is too big. That's the Canada I want, but under Justin Trudeau, that's not the Canada we're getting. Under Trudeau, the majority of Canadians are stretching their last dollar just to pay their bills. Almost half are overwhelmed by their debts, and middle-class families are paying even more in taxes. But life shouldn't be this difficult for hard-working people, and that's where Conservatives come in. Because Conservatives know that getting government out of the way so that people can create for themselves a brighter, more prosperous future is the way to build a better country. It's not the government that should be getting bigger and bigger. It's your paycheck that should be getting bigger and bigger. And that's what my plan is all about. We are going to leave more money in your pockets. We're going to bring in a tax cut for everyone, a universal tax cut, lowering the first income tax bracket, saving the average earning couple $850. We're going to recognize that in Canada, heating your home is not a luxury, it's a necessity, and we're going to take the GST off of home energy bills. We're going to make your kids' activities more affordable by bringing back the children's sports and fitness tax credit as well. We're going to boost the RESP so you can save more for your kids' education. And job number one, my very first act as Prime Minister, the first piece of legislation that we're going to introduce and pass will be called an act to repeal the carbon tax, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do this by getting rid of corporate handouts to rich companies, and we're going to cut the foreign aid budget by 25% so we can keep that money here at home so that Canadians can get ahead. That money belongs to you, not them, and we know that it will do far more good in your pockets than in theirs. Because you see, Conservatives understand that no amount of government can match the ability of small business owners to create jobs. No amount of government can match the creativity of the free market. And no amount of government can match the generosity of our communities. We know that a dollar left in the pocket of the Canadian who earned it is always better spent than in the hands of the politician who taxed it. And that's the big difference between Liberals and Conservatives. Liberals believe that opportunity and innovation only come from the government, but Conservatives know that it is Canadians who have the greatest ability to unleash our potential, to solve the problems we face as a country, to drive our economy. Liberals put their faith in government. Conservatives, we put our faith in people. And when I look ahead to the future, I see Canada's future. I see a country that creates its own opportunity. But under Justin Trudeau, Canada has become a country of no. No to big nation-building projects. No to standing up for Canada on the world stage. And no to hard-working entrepreneurs who create jobs and opportunity. But while Justin Trudeau says no, my Canada is a country of yes. Yes to a stronger, more united country where every Canadian can succeed. Yes to a country where big things can get built again. And yes to a strong and ethical government that Canadians can be proud of. Alors, mesdames et messieurs, le choix, c'est clair. The choice is crystal clear between a prime minister that will tear us down and one who will build us up. We are so close to victory, and it's right there. Millions and millions of Canadians have already voted, and millions and millions of Canadians are voting Conservative this election. One of the most common things I hear is people who come up to me and say, Andrew, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I say, well, that's a very Canadian way to introduce yourself. I say, I voted Liberal in 2015, but I'm voting Conservative this election. And right now is when we need you all the most. Every riding is going to be won or lost by the people on the ground, by people like you, telling your friends and neighbors about the choice before them. And that choice is getting even starker every day. Because you see, the NDP and Justin Trudeau are realizing they can't win on their own, so they're already talking about a coalition. And we know what that means. That means that it may be a Liberal government on the facade, but it's the NDP calling the shots in the background. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a coalition you cannot afford. So that choice is between a coalition that will drive up taxes, drive out jobs, and make life more expensive, or a Conservative majority government that will lower your taxes and put more money in your pocket. It's between a coalition that will chase away investments and leave thousands of Canadians out of work, or a Conservative majority that will stand up for our natural resource sector and put Canadians first. A Trudeau NDP coalition that will add over $130 billion to the national debt, a debt that each and every one of us will have to pay back with interest. Or a conservative majority government that lives within its means, gets back to balanced budgets so that we can leave more money in your pockets. So we know that Justin Trudeau will pay any price to hold on to power, but he'll pay it with your money. And only a conservative majority government can stop him and give Canadians the government that they deserve. So where he will abuse the power of his office to reward his friends and punish his critics, I will restore ethics and integrity to government. Where he will call small business owners tax cheats, I will always stand up for them and thank them for the jobs and opportunities that they create in our society. Where he will clown around on the world stage and get bullied and pushed around, I will always defend Canada with strength and stand up for Canadians all around the world. Where he will demonize and insult people because of their beliefs, I will always stand up for freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and freedom of religion, ladies and gentlemen. Where he will look a war hero in the eye and tell him that veterans are asking for more than he can give, I will honor their service and their sacrifice and make sure they get the benefits that they are entitled to. Where he appointed a member of parliament to serve as Minister of ACOA from Toronto, I will make sure our Minister for ACOA actually comes from Atlantic Canada. Where he allowed billions of liters of wastewater to be dumped into the St. Lawrence, I will ban the dumping of raw sewage into our lakes, rivers, and oceans. Where he will target law-abiding firearms owners and force them to follow more rules, I will go after the real criminals, the gangsters and the drug traffickers and the people who traffic firearms illegally. And where he will say no to the big dreams and aspirations of Canadians, I will say yes. Where he will cost you more, raise your taxes, I will run a government that lives within its means, leaves more money in your pockets because it's time for you to get ahead. That is the choice this election, ladies and gentlemen. So with these 4 days left, get every single one of your friends, every single one of your neighbors, get them out to the polls and tell them about this choice. Tell them to join the millions of Canadians who are voting for a brighter future, for a better government, and for a prime minister they can be proud of. Join the millions of Canadians who are voting Conservative this election. Let's get the vote out. Let's finish strong. Let's win this thing on Monday. Thank you very much.